flag.
8:07, it's time for the CEO Spotlight. It's brought to you by Vaaler Insurance. When it comes to protecting your business, nobody beats Vaaler. VAALER.com. That's the website. Their employee benefit specialists are first class, and they can take care of risk management, professional insurance, whatever you need. Keep your business covered with Vaaler Insurance. They're the sponsor of the CEO Spotlight. Tom Kenville is here, and Tom is the president and CEO of Isight RPV, a great UAS company doing business here in the Red River Valley. Been kind of to stop by here and spend a little time with us. Hey, Tommy, how you doing?
Doing great. Fun to be here.
Glad to have you here too. Yeah. So your industry is one that we hear a lot about in this state. And I think, at first when we heard about drones and UASs and all that, we were like, okay, government surveillance and stuff, we get all that. But man, it's amazing just from someone who's on the outside of your industry looking in and how many different things that drones and unmanned aerial systems are used for now.
Yeah, I mean, it's a cliche, but the sky's the limit. I mean, they're using drones in China to help with this disease, this coronavirus. They're using drones to deliver medical supplies in third world countries. North Dakota has been a leader. I've been involved since day one. Now we have a nice small company growing very quickly. We just merged with a company down here in Fargo called Flight Pros. Nice young entrepreneur named Joey Schmidt that grew his business and got to a point, what should I do? And so we merged last month ago. So we're going to grow Fargo, and then in May we're opening in Watford City.
Well, congrats!
So a lot of fun stuff, and it's fun keeping all the young talent in North Dakota. The young kids. I'm old, of course, Steve, but most of my team is 30 or under.
Yeah, they're the ones that are getting it done. Yeah. And you're right. We talk about the economy in the state, and these are great jobs for young people, high-tech jobs, and these are the kind of things you can recruit somebody to come from Minneapolis to work up here doing this stuff.
Yep. I mean, most of our people are coming out of the University of North Dakota's drone program. Few aren't. Probably have 6 that aren't. But yeah, they if they like to travel, want to see the world, we're flying in 36 states and 9 countries right now.
Wow. That's crazy.
May open in Canada because we've trained a lot of people up there and it hasn't gone well for our clients up there.
Yeah.
So they said, would you open in Canada? Well, I already think I'm Canadian, so I might as well.
Close enough. Tell me a little bit about the company. How did you start and when did you start?
Well, I had started the first private drone company. I've started maybe a dozen companies over my 35, 40-year career. And Senator Hoeven and I were the first 2 in drones back in 07, 06, 08, somewhere in there, and when he was governor. And in 2010, I saw a hole, so I started a drone consulting business to bring on curriculum for payload training. And a rough entrepreneurial start. I had gotten some grant money, centers of excellence, got the curriculum done, and then forgot that the hardest people to sell to are universities because they're the smartest. So not a lot of buyers for my curriculum. So
they knew all the answers already. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's hard to sell them. And I was like white labeled, make it yours, just pay me a little for it.
Right.
And so I sold a few 2-year schools, but anyway, and then I was on Innovate ND and helped the aviation companies that came through, and 2 young guys from Wahpeton originally named Adam Lingwald and Nathan Lieben. I was their mentor. So I helped them start a drone services company, Isight. And then we worked together, but we were separate companies for a year or 2. And of course that messed up the books and messed up the gear. But neither of us were making money. So they came to me and said we should merge. And I said, that's not a bad idea. And so we merged maybe in 16, 15, somewhere like that. And ever since the merger, we hit the numbers, struggled. I mean, we're not out of the woods yet, but we're up to 24, 26 employees now, flying all over the world, creating jobs. It's fun.
So how do you make your money? Who hires you?
A lot of different entities over the years, power companies, energy companies, oil companies. Our largest client is a tech company in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and they process the data and we get the data for them. So today I have a kid in Watertown, South Dakota flying, outside of Denver, Oklahoma, Iowa, the UK. We're flying off of ships in the UK on the wind blades that are on the water. Minn Kota power company type. So real estate. I mean, a little bit of everything. And I'm going to meet with a few engineering firms today that Joey, who we acquired, has already worked for, and just kind of brief them. Hey, here's our broader bench, bigger team, more toys.
Yeah. Tell me about some of the things that you do. You gave us a list of different locations that you're doing, but every mission is, I'm sure, a little bit different. What kinds of things can you learn through drone technology that these companies are demanding your services for?
So in the simplest form, what would you like for imagery or data that's time-stamped and geo-referenced? So the hardest thing is pricing, because you and Scott can drive down a highway and tell me what condition it's in. Mm-hmm. Or I can fly the highway with the right payload and give you very precise, accurate information. So is yours and Scott's wrong, or is mine right? But it's a change. Mm-hmm. And when you get with the power companies and some of these companies, this is how we've always done it. Now we're going to do it different. With saying that, some of our local big power companies are leading edge using drones. XL Energy and Ottertail are both doing a good job. So almost any industry, agriculture was going to be the big shaker 3-4 years ago, but we couldn't process the data fast enough. I think that's going to come around this season, where the data, because you fly a quarter of corn or a quarter of sugar beets, it's so much data. It's like taking a picture of your wife's garden.
It is. Yeah. Every square foot is a different story. Yeah.
And so, but the software's coming now on NDSU and UND and Wahpeton School of Science and Lake Region. They're all in the drone game. Mm-hmm. So it's really, we're growing, and North Dakota is the best place to do it. I mean, everybody's on the team, from governors, high tech, to the senators, to local politicians supporting. The biggest news is beyond line of sight and this radar that the legislators and the governor proposed. And when that happens, we'll be the only state in the U.S. that you can do that,
where you can fly without being able to see the actual device itself.
A year from today, I'll be able to launch somewhere here around Fargo, fly up to Hillsboro, and fly back. And watch it on a computer screen through technology, not physically watch it.
Having to look at it with your eyes.
And then that radar will also help manned aviation, because now we'll pick up anything in the air over 400 feet. So in all these small towns in North Dakota with uncontrolled airports, it's going to benefit everybody.
Yeah. What are the power companies using you for? Is it surveilling, power lines and seeing
We've done
what's
power
going on?
lines. We've done power stations. We've done foliage overgrowth, so that's interfering. Yeah. We've done storm chasing, like if they have a tornado or a thunderstorm come through, or hailstorm, we'll check the damage right after. So, yeah.
How big are these drones now? Are they, the ones that you could buy at Walmart, they're a foot or, 2 feet or whatever, but even the high-tech ones don't seem like they're that much bigger than that.
So I would say the minimum value of a drone that we use in our fleet's probably $5,000. And then our most expensive one today is $45,000. That's gas-powered, 10 or 12-foot wingspan, 5 hours in the air. We bought a drone and have an option on another, so that we'll be ready to go the day we can go beyond line of sight. We've already done some beyond line of sight with the FAA test site up at the Canadian border, and it's gone well. So,
I imagine you just can't fly it when it's windy, right?
No, we can go up to 25 knots depending on the experience of our pilots.
Okay. They know how to buck the wind as they
go.
For
instance, we had a guy flying at 25 knots in Oklahoma yesterday, but on this similar site, we had a brand new pilot that wasn't that skilled yet. So when he did his nightly report, he said, I stood down because of the wind limits and my capabilities. And I was like so proud of that young man, because I didn't want him to go feel uncomfortable and have an incident, right?
Yeah, have wrecked the thing.
Really costs money. So
very interesting. How do you build an identity of a company when you're merging? You've got the new company coming on board. How do you kind of bring everybody together to be part of the same team when you're used to maybe in a lot of cases working against each other?
Well, you guys are in this business, and I apparently got my undergrad in this. It's a puzzle in a way. So we were basically branded as Isight RPV Services. We might change that to Isight Drones, because the RPV was going to be, we were going to get away from the word drones because it was military. Well, it's it's here to stay.
Yeah, right.
So we might edit that, but basically we just, on social media through things like this, or today we're in Minot at the Upper Midwest Aviation Symposium. One of my teammates is up there on a panel, just kind of spreading it, and our best is word of mouth. That's how we get hired, or a company, like hypothetically your friend Scott might like drones. So he'd come in here one day and he bought one.
Yep.
Well, our odds are extremely high. He would crash that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you would call me, hey, Tommy.
Yeah.
So a lot of our customers, it's gone that way.
Yeah.
We fly for Ellingson Drain Tile, ag work. They did a little bit of their own, but wasn't the same as ours. So,
Yeah.
And I'm trying to find more work in the region. Our guys are traveling all over the world, but if you could have it tiered where you could go long ways, come back more local, and day jobs and things like that.
Yeah. What is the average contract for you? Like, we're not going to send somebody out for less than $5-10 grand or whatever.
No, we do. That's a hard one because we have 2 to 3 very large customers, and then we have a lot of onesie twosies, right? Mm-hmm. And so the company we bought down here, I'm super excited because it's a different book of business than we had. Mm-hmm. He did the onesie twosies. When I read his numbers, he had like 20 or 30,000 in 3 or 4 pockets. Well, that's great. Mm-hmm. And we had millions in one pocket and almost $1 million in another. And then our other one was smaller than his, maybe, So trying to get into 3 or 4 verticals in energy or infrastructure and if we get to 40 or 50 operators, that'll be where I'm done managing the place. Not trying to have 100 employees, but if we had 40 or 50 experts in, like energy, ag, highways, things like that, then we'd be the best,
Very interesting. You were telling me a story about Watford City and some things you can do there. You actually are able to help some municipalities understand traffic flow and those kind of things. Tell us that story.
So we've flown 175 miles of pipeline out there the last 3 years. We had the first legal flights out there, 3.5 years ago. But with the line of sight issue, it was so difficult because we didn't make money. It took too much time. It was difficult to be safe. So I had heard that Continental Resources' biggest complaint in North Dakota was at the gravel road closings. And so I'm like, we could fly those gravel roads right after a rain event. And at first I was trying to put together a 3-county deal because of where all the oil, right? But then it was complicated because of different counties, you're working with different firms,
Mm-hmm.
So I had visited with a couple of the commissioners at McKenzie County, which they have the most impact in the energy industry in the radius. And I said, I think I can do this. And they said, well, let's do a pilot project. Can you present to us? So I presented in January. I gave them a report, documents in January, presented to the county commission in February, and yesterday sent back the agreement. So we're going to do a pilot project over 2 summers to inspect gravel road conditions, either at sunup or 30 minutes after a rain event. We're going to put four people out there in 2 vehicles and probably 4 or 6 drones and see what we can do.
The story is you get a major rain event and the county shuts down roads saying the gravel roads are washed out. You can't get trucks in there, and you can go through there with drone technology and say, no, it's not really that bad, or here's a road where it is, but let's not close all of them because you had rain in one bad part.
So I was fortunate enough to spend some time with Mr. Ham on Friday, and Ron Ness introduced me that Tommy's going to try to help our industry, and that was his biggest problem. And so when the semis stop, the revenue stops, the oil rig stops.
And the oil tax revenue stops for the state of North Dakota.
Everything. And I've learned an awful lot about that industry in a short order. Our company is what's called ISN World certified. So we had to go through a big gate to be certified to fly for the large energy companies, higher insurances, different kind of testing, screening, nationality, but we did it. And, so I believe that Watford will really, really rock for us. We have
no kidding.
2 projects out there so we can open up in the black, but and then we'll put the right players there, maybe even put an airplane out there. We have a couple airplanes too.
Okay.
That we do chase work right now today, but could get imagery with the airplanes.
Very interesting. Lots of good stuff. Tom, thanks for coming and sharing the story. We learned a lot today, and sounds really cool. Keep up the good work, and thanks for sharing the story.
Well, it's exciting to be an entrepreneur in North Dakota. We have a great place to do the work. So
You're right. Great place to do business. Same here. Tom, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Continued success, my friend. Keep up the good work. 822, and the CEO Spotlight is brought to you by Vaaler Insurance. When it comes to protecting your business, nobody beats Vaaler. Hey, listen, their employee benefits specialists